Hello there, Marvin Kilborn back again. It's been about a month since I did a video. I'm a retired public school teacher, and I initially set up this channel to tell my story about my 15-year teaching career. I did that. So I've kind of hemmed and hawed, bounced back and forth on what kind of videos I might want to do, if I even want to keep doing videos. They're kind of fun, but my main purpose has been satisfied. So kind of bouncing around, just thinking about watching the news. And since this channel was initially set up for education, or me to talk about education, trying to stick with that theme. So every now and then a story comes up on the news that just kind of irks me. Now it's been over a year since I retired. I did 15 years as a teacher in public schools. Did several more other places, but I have a lot of experiences. But one thing that's in the news recently is, and it ties in with this whole COVID thing too, the pandemic. And of course, a lot of people, myself included, I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. It's been over 2 years now. We just need to get back to living our lives, and there's just so much wrong with how COVID's being handled. But I'm not going to get deep into that. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, they like to ban people that talk about COVID, so I'm not going to waste my time talking about that. But I did see a story recently about how all over the country, in school districts all over the country, teachers are being given additional days off due to stress for mental health reasons. Now, I have to admit, either I'm just a world-class asshole or I don't get mental health. I'm 63 years old. I served 22 years in the military. Thank God I never served in armed combat. Managed to avoid that. Never got stuck with that. It's a good thing too. But I've had a lot of stressful jobs in my life, and I've never cowered from the stress. I've never cowered from the job. I've always been there. Even in the military, I was one of those guys that hardly ever took a day off. I mean, we had to take our leave, but as far as taking off work for being sick or just feeling a little tired or whatever, no. And as a teacher, it was very, very important for me to be in that classroom for my kids. Whether my students wanted it or not, they knew that they could depend on Mr. Kilborn being in that classroom every single day with them, teaching them, doing the best that I could to help them and to teach them. So when I retired, you may remember that video, I had like 65 days of leave saved up. In 15 years to have 65 days saved up, that's a lot. Typically, teachers get 5 days of vacation or sick days or whatever you want to call it, but they get 5 days of leave awarded by the district each year. Most districts do that. And in most states, the state actually awards 5 days. So teachers start the year knowing they're going to have 10 days of sick leave to use during the year if they need to. They don't have to, but it's there. Also, teachers, as far as the number of hours teachers work, no doubt teachers are one of the most fortunate, most lucky professions there are. We get, as a teacher, I got Thanksgiving week off. A lot of districts are doing 2 weeks now, but we got a week off for Thanksgiving, 2 weeks for Christmas, New Year's. You get all the major holidays off. And there's also a bunch of several, usually 2, 3, maybe 4 teacher work days built into the school year. I was actually always pretty impressed with the way the school calendar is set up, because by the time you really, really feel like you need a break, the break was there. The calendar created by our administrators are actually set up pretty well. The breaks fall pretty much when most teachers need a break. Now, still, I was one of those teachers that never took off, which allowed me to basically take off for 3 whole months with pay when I decided I wanted to retire, when I finally got tired of the BS. But we have so many snowflake teachers now, these young kids that were raised during the 80s, 90s, 2000s, being told they were special and given whatever they wanted. Just it was so easy. You know, these millennial kids have no clue how difficult it was for previous generations just to make it, because things are so well now, or at least they were before Biden came along. Things were so great that we hardly ever had to tell our kids no. My own boys, my own children never wanted for anything. And in some ways, they're paying the price, and I have to admit, I guess I'm partly guilty for that. Because we just raised these kids, we pampered them, we told them they were special and their ideas mattered, and all this crap. And we gave them trophies just for showing up. They didn't even have to do anything. Put their name on a line, show up, join a team and get a trophy at the end of the season. Here, at the end of the season, you're going to be told you're special, even though you're really not, and probably didn't even play. So that does a lot of damage, and we're experiencing the damage from that now. This whole woke culture is part of that. I mean, clearly, postmodernist thought started around the 50s, 60s. I think that's when it started, 50s, 60s, 70s of last century. But this type of thinking, this woke thinking, this cancel culture of thinking, this I can't be offended. If somebody offends me, something has to be done. Somebody has to be fired. Somebody has to be killed. Somebody has to die if I'm offended. That kind of thinking is pretty current, pretty recent. The BLM movement, that's grown out of this postmodernist thought. But anyway, we have so many young people now in their 20s, even 30s, that are just wimps, weaklings, snowflakes, just pussies. I'm sorry, but that's what I think. Again, I was one of those teachers that never took off. Was it stressful? Yeah, I mean, I taught in South Oak Cliff, Dallas. I taught in West Fort Worth. I taught in the worst schools in Shreveport, Louisiana. I mean, I've taught in some high-stress environments, but I never took off. Until my very last year, I decided to start taking some days off, because by that point, I was getting so fed up with the BS. I said, hey, if I don't feel like dealing with the BS, like you may remember one video I did, there was a meeting with this consulting guy was going to come in and try to help us. And it was so stupid that they were taking me out of my classroom to sit in the room with this idiot, listen to him talk about crap that I don't care about. So when that started happening, I would take a few days off, say, you know what, we're having that meeting tomorrow, so I'm not going to be there. But anyway, this idea of stress days, all these poor teachers are so stressed out. COVID is so horrible. Now keep in mind, I taught for the first year and a half of this whole COVID experience. Yeah, they threw up some curveballs. We had to make some modifications. We had to make some changes for virtual learning and in-class learning and things like that. So yeah, it was a little additional workload, but I certainly didn't feel all stressed out over it. And maybe I'm just a different guy. I mean, serving in the military is very, very beneficial. I would think some of these young snowflake, wimpy teachers, maybe they should have done some time in the military or done some time in the real world, working a real job before they decided they wanted to become a teacher. Because, yeah, it's a hard job. I'm not going to lie. It is stressful. My God, some of the kids you have to deal with, some of the parents you have to deal with. Sad to say it, but it's true. The damn administrators are for the most part, useless. So they suck too. So yeah, there's a lot of stressors on a teacher. It's not one of those jobs you can just show up, put in your time, and go home. I mean, it's full on enthusiasm, excitement, nonsense, garbage, kids whining, kids causing trouble. I mean, parents causing trouble. I mean, it's nonstop all day long. So yeah, it is stressful. But this idea that on top of all the other days that these teachers are getting, that they need some stress days on top of that, please. If you feel like you need a stress day, young teacher, you need to go find another job. Your job is to be there for your students. And these teachers apparently in these school boards and clearly the teachers' unions, which Texas doesn't have, not really, but all these boards and unions and stuff are supporting this idea of taking these teachers out of the classroom with pay, giving them extra days off to relieve their stress while the kids are expected to be there and not be taught. Or these districts think that they can just bring in extra substitutes. Well, Anybody that's ever been to school knows a substitute don't do shit but babysit. Substitutes aren't teachers. They're not qualified to be teachers. Oh, hardly any of them are certified teachers. I mean, there are some, but for the most part, they're just babysitters. They sit in there and take roll and make sure nothing gets destroyed or make sure the kids are occupied doing something, but they're definitely not teachers. So my message to all these wimpy ass teachers that want all these additional stress days, you need to get out of the damn profession. Go find another job. Go find something easy. I don't know. Go work at Walmart. My God, they're starting at like $15 an hour now. That's not horrible. So go do something like that. So anyway, that's all I have to say about this stress days for these wimpy millennial snowflake teachers. Until next time, hope you all have a great day. It's always fun to watch how many people are watching my videos. It's certainly fun to watch the comments. And before I go, I just want to give a special shout out to a special group of fans that I met in Henderson, Texas. Olivia Lane and your little cohort of friends. I know you're following me. I know you've subscribed. I know you're watching my videos. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support. With that said, thank you all. Until next time, bye-bye.